Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Corey, better known as the Seaman. Now I want to welcome you to another edition of the Seaman's Cinema Sit-Down. Now, when it comes to movies, man, I love me a good sports film because as someone who played sports growing up, those movies highlight all the things that go into a team and the negatives and positives and the struggles and how you overcome adversity. And there's just all these wonderful messages in a sport film. But I also love a really, really nice character study film where we're solely focused for the most part on one character. And that story is what drives the movie. I love movies like that. I got the perfect combo of both over the weekend, man. Ben Affleck's new movie, where he's teaming up with director-writer Gavin O'Connor, who you should know from their team up when they did The Accountant. You two better make The Accountant too, because I love that movie, man. I want more of that. But here we are. They're teaming up again with this movie that, for me, was an absolute slam dunk. And every pun in the world is intended there. What are we talking about, man? I can pull up a chair, take a seat. We're getting ready to dive in spoiler-free into the way back. And like I said, this is one of those movies where you get both a wonderful character study and a really good sports film. Now, I'm not gonna lie, the execution of the story in and of itself is a little wonky. This is a sports movie that is bookended by two pieces of character study that really kind of go in on an alcoholic in this instance, but addiction in general. And you had this basketball movie in the middle. And there are some wonky things. Like, Ben is approached, if you're unfamiliar with what the movie is about, Ben's character, Jack, is a hardcore drunk. He's got a lot of personal problems going on. He's separated from his wife. He's kind of alienated himself from his family, and the drinking is not a good situation. And he gets offered to come coach his old high school basketball team by the priest at this private Catholic school that Jack went to. And when he's asked, minor spoiler, he goes home and he's trying to figure out how to say no. You can tell he doesn't really want to do it. And then the next morning comes and he just shows up as the coach. You kind of miss the whole, all right, I'm going to do it. And you can kind of fill in the blanks, but that is the only, I think, struggles that this movie has, is coming in and out of the character stuff and into the basketball stuff. I think it probably could have been weaved together a little bit tighter and more seamless, but that's really the only knock I have on this thing, because this is a movie that is about Ben Affleck just crushing it as an actor, and Gavin O'Connor just crushing it from a writing and directing standpoint. Like I said, outside of, kind of connecting the two parts of the movie together seamlessly, the material that's in this movie is really good. I mean, the character study stuff and the stuff about alcoholism and being a broken individual and understanding why someone is broken and how that could drive them to shatter their own lives. That stuff is really, really strong from a writing standpoint. And obviously, Ben Affleck, delivery-wise, is tremendous. And then the basketball stuff, all the stuff in the middle, man, this is a wonderful basketball movie. Like, it's fictional, so you don't know what's going to happen. There were literally moments where, there's a good stretch where, I'm kind of sitting back, and the basketball stuff's starting, and I'm watching, I'm enjoying it, and the basketball stuff really gets going, and I'm sliding up in my chair, I'm sitting upright. There are moments where I'm like, oh, yeah, cheering. I cheered multiple times in this movie, or you get nervous for things that are happening, and then just kind of these outward expressions of yes or no, or it's wonderful, wonderful stuff, and I thoroughly enjoyed watching it. And then, like I said, you get this basketball movie, and it's kind of bookended by these two pieces of story around, Jack. And the third act, that's where it all comes together, man. The emotional punch, oh, it's driven home so strong, man. And, you feel, because you watch this guy climb the mountain. And it's the thing I think the movie does really well. Gavin O'Connor crushes the concept of, yeah, man, when you're an addict, you're always an addict, no matter what your addiction is. You're an alcoholic or a drug addict. Here, obviously, alcoholism is the issue. And even if you can kind of steady the ship and get on the straight and narrow, all it takes is one thing that can break all of that and send you back down that dark, dark hole. And, you get to watch how that happens, and you get to find out why Jack is broken, and you can empathize and sympathize with Jack, and that emotional stuff then comes in really, really heavy. And Ben Affleck, just the perfect person to carry this stuff, man. Like, you hate to be like his personal experiences are so evident in his performance here and influencing his performance, because you don't want to like be like, well, because Ben's struggles kind of informed his performance, but they do. Like, this is a guy who has lived this stuff, man. Divorced, in and out of rehab, having relapses and having public relapses, and you can tell how all of that stuff, which is so deeply personal. I mean, if you've seen Ben Affleck interviewed at all during his press run leading up to this movie, you can tell how, emotionally tied he is to this material, because it's similar in ways to things that he's gone through, and he just crushes it, man. Like, this is, I think, maybe Ben's best acting performance of his career. Like, it's a show. Like, you can forgive the kind of wonky stuff in the connecting of the first act to the second and the second to the third acts, and some of the wonky pacing here and there, because the performance is so strong. And it's really unfortunate timing, both for Ben Affleck and for Warner Brothers. One, no one could have seen this coronavirus thing becoming what it is starting to become, and I think that probably played into the box office numbers. This thing only made about $8 million over the weekend, and Ben traditionally, even if it's movies that lots of people aren't seeing, traditionally has pull at the box office. And I think the coronavirus situation here in the States played into that. Now, I don't know that for a fact, but when you look at the other movies that came out this weekend, Onward, numbers weren't that great either. And it's a really good, like, these are two really, really good movies, and they struggled at the box office. And I think some of that kind of plays into that. And the other thing that kind of hurts this movie as far as timing goes is its chance at the award season run. I think Ben Affleck has got Oscar written all over this performance. I mean, this is like one of those, like, when you look at his story, that comeback moment where he gets back to the Oscars and he takes home that trophy again. It's all over this performance, but it's so early in the year, I can't possibly see it actually getting there. I mean, I would hope it does, but we saw this happen to Us last year. Us, award movie all over that thing, man. Like, the award circuit should have been all over Us, but it happened so early in the year, it didn't quite make it to the finish line. And thus, Lupita Nyong'o and Jordan Peele and the movie itself all get overlooked. And when you add in that Ben is teaming up with Matt Damon to write a film, they have written it already, and they're shooting it right now out in France, called The Last Duel. And you have those two writing and starring alongside Jodie Comer and Adam Driver. That alone has Oscar written all over it. And then you throw Ridley Scott in as directing. That will probably be the movie that everyone starts talking. And what a cool story it would be to see Matt and Ben on stage accepting a writing Oscar again. That'd be tremendous. But that, unfortunately, I think will negatively impact this movie when it comes to the awards season. But we talked so much about Ben Affleck and Gavin O'Connor, who shoots the movie wonderfully, really has a good grasp on the basketball stuff. The basketball sequences, like I said, that cheering and the feelings that you get come from the way the movie is shot and the way the material is delivered. But even though this is sort of a one-man show, it's not. There are some other really, really talented performances in here. One, Al Madrigal plays math teacher, assistant coach Dan. Love the interactions that him and Jack have and how that plays. Some of them are good, some of them are negative, but all of it plays into, Jack's story and the resolution to his story. And I love those interactions, and it brings that emotional weight to it, especially at the end of the movie, because of that friendship that they've kind of formed, through the movie. Very, very small tidbits. Not a ton of material between the two of them, but it plays heavily into something that happens at the end of the movie, and it hits you because sometimes, even people that you trust or believe in, when they see something going on and they decide to be the one to kind of start that cycle that eventually leads to the resolution for the character, it's tough, but needed. And I thought Al Madrigal delivered that stuff really, really well. Janina Gavankar, who I absolutely loved in Blind Spotting last year, great here. Plays his wife. You can't say ex-wife because they're separated, not officially divorced. Angela, and she's really good, man. She shows up a little bit at the beginning, and then the stuff toward the end as you start to find out why Jack is broken and how he's gonna get past all of these things. Those couple times where they're on screen together are so impactful and emotionally driven, and she just executes really, really well. Michaela Watkins plays Beth, who is Jack's sister. Again, minor role, but the 2-3 times that she pops up in the movie along with her family, very, very impactful stuff, and like boom, like punctuation mark kind of scenes. Then you also have Jeremy Radin, who plays Father Mark Whelan, who is the chaplain for the team, constantly reminding Jack that there is a code of conduct at a Catholic private school, and Jack's foul mouth kind of creates some really funny light moments between the two of them that you thoroughly enjoy. And then John Aylward plays Father Edward Devine, who was the father back when Jack was a player. He's the one who reaches out to him. Again, very small moments, but he's very good. Then there's this basketball team, man. And for the most part, unlike a lot of your sport films, it's not so much about Ben and all of these players. The real hard connection he has is with Brandon Durant, his point guard, who's played by Brandon Wilson, who's tremendous. It's a kid who's kind of quiet. He's not the captain at the beginning of the movie, and he doesn't really exert himself like he's a captain, even though he's the best player. And that relationship is really the one that's the most important, and it's the most fleshed out. And I loved watching, Brandon Wilson play off of Ben Affleck in certain moments in this movie, and it is the character that really brings everything together from the basketball perspective. But then the whole team is fun, and certain characters. Will Ropp, who plays Kenny Dawes. There's a moment with Kenny that just kind of clues me in, also with Brandon, that clues me into the fact that Gavin O'Connor is not a LeBron James fan, is definitely a Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant fan. If you know stuff about basketball, you probably know what I'm talking about. And if you see this movie, there are 2 moments where you just go, yeah, those are just big old middle fingers to LeBron James. And I love it, man, because I'm a huge Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant fan. And, as much as I can appreciate what LeBron does, he rubs me the wrong way a lot. And you can tell Gavin O'Connor definitely not a LeBron fan. So that personally for me was super enjoyable. But Will Ropp is great. Kenny is the 3-point shooter. And he's also like the ladies' man. And you see him with girls constantly in the movie and always having to be pulled away like right before getting on the bus or before the game. And that stuff is funny, brings a lot of humor in. Charles Lott Jr., who plays Chubbs Hendricks, also brings in a lot of humor and some serious stuff too, man, because he likes to dance before games, so how that plays into the story is fun. Fernando Louis Vega, who plays Sam Garcia, he is the senior, he is the captain on the team. Not a ton for him, but he gets a couple nice moments in the movie, and again, it's just part of the team. And then I think that the other big impactful role as far as his relationship with the kids in a scene that, like, if you've ever played or coached or watched kids struggle with being on or off a team, for Melvin Gregg, who plays Marcus Parrish, tremendous dude. You hate him, and then you feel for him, and then you root for him, and that's what you want out of that character. And Ben Irving, who plays the sixth man, Bobby Freeze, again, not a ton, but does what he's asked really well. And that group of 6 on court are so much fun to watch. And like I said, the basketball stuff is really, really strong. But at the end of the day, tremendous stuff from all of the kids that are in the movie. They are a big part of the enjoyment, especially that middle section of the movie. It's a lot of them and Ben Affleck, and it's really, really good stuff. But at the end of the day, this movie's all about Mr. Affleck, and as he turns out, one of the best performances of his career. And it's an impactful movie. It just hit me core dead center in the chest. You just feel for the character while simultaneously you feel for Ben Affleck because he's gone through similar things, and all of that just leads to one of the best performances of his career. So I tell you, man, if the coronavirus isn't outbreaking in your area, you haven't seen this movie, you're a fan of Ben Affleck or sports movies or character-driven movies, go see The Way Back, man. This thing is really good. It's really strong. If this was later in the year, it would totally be in all the conversations. come awards season. So I urge you, go see it if you haven't. And if you have seen it, well, now is your turn to get in on the fun, man. Hit those comments down below. Let me know what you're thinking. Did this movie work for you? Did it not work for you? What was or wasn't working? How tremendous was Ben Affleck? Did you like the sports stuff? Did the way the movie's kind of broken up in its 3 acts work for you or not? Anything you're thinking about The Way Back and Mr. Ben Affleck, down below in the comment section. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're new, you want to come hang out with the old Seaman anytime we talk movies, trailers, TV, I urge you to come join the Cinema Sit-Down squad, man. We're always having fun over here. And if you jump over there, hit that subscribe button, I'll pop right up in your feed. And you can come hang out anytime you like. If you really, really like what we're doing, hit that alert bell that follows so you get alerts every time I make a new video. And if not, hey, I appreciate you stopping by. But there you go, man. That's all we got to say about The Way Back. So until next time, for the Seaman Cinema Sit-Down, I'm the Seaman. I'm signing off. Peace! Well, I'll be. You guys are still here. You must be looking for some more content. Well, don't worry. Seaman's got you covered, man. You got videos like this guy and this guy. And if you haven't yet, and you want to come check out all the Seaman goodies, join the Cinema Sit-Down squad, man. Hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the little bell down below that, too, so you can get alerts every time I make new videos.